So today our topic of discussion is array and pointers in C, means how to implement array of different category using pointers. But before starting this concept, first we have to understand how to define an array in C, and while defining the array, how this array will occupy the memory space in C. My point is the memory allocation type while defining array. I will depict here. So now what is this array is all about? So whenever an array is declared in the program, mark my words, contiguous memory will be allotted to the elements. So array is basically a contiguous memory allocation. So first I will define how a particular syntax of an array will look like. That is, whenever we want to define an integer array, so it will look like first the data type and then the name of the array with this symbol, and inside this symbol we have to write the size of the array, and then it will ends with semicolon. Something like I have to write int a of say 4. So this is the size of the array. But first we have to understand how many components are there for an specific array definition. That is, a particular array means contiguous memory allocation, or you can say continuous memory allocation. The array size is 4. So we have to remember always the count, the index of an array will start from 0. So 4 means 0, 1, 2, and 3. So here the size of the array is 4. However, this is known as index. So index of this array is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Then we have a array name. So A is the array name. And now why we are defining an array? We are defining an array so that we could keep some element in the array. So since it is an integer array, so I will keep some integer value in it. So how could I represent that 11 is the first element inside the array A? So it is represented as A of 0. It means A is the array name and this 11 exists at the index 0. So whenever I write A of 0 means it indicates the first element of the array. Element of the array. Now similarly, if I write A of 1, array name and the index value is 1. So A of 1 means the second element of the array. Now here the point is each and every array so basically has three components: index, array name, and the address. Now you have to understand how the address of an array will be assigned. So this is a very important point. So since I have defined in the previous class, whenever we define any variable, then a memory space will be allotted for that variable, and that memory space should have an initial address. So array is nothing but a collection of this memory spaces which is contiguous in nature. Therefore, this concept is also applicable here, means each and every memory location will have its own address. Now, the address of the first location will be, say, arbitrarily I am taking because address will be assigned randomly. Say it is 10,000. Since it is an integer array and size of an integer is 4 byte, so the next address will start from 1000 10,004, and then again the next address will start from 10,008. So similarly it will proceed. So then we will have 10,012. So my point is, what is the memory size for the first element? It is from 10,000 to 10,003. So this is the space, or this is the memory allocation for the element 1. Similarly, we can calculate this for element 2, 3 and 4. So what is the address of the array which will be assigned for its each and every element? It is dependent on the type of the data type. That is, if my array is of type character, then this, if the address starts from 10,000, since the character is of size 1 byte, so the immediate next address will be having size 10,001, and then 10,002. Similarly it will proceed. So this is the concept. But here you have to mark one more point. What is that point? That is, whenever I am writing name of an array, so whenever you are using just the name of the array while printing, it indicates the starting address. So note this point. Whenever you are using the name of the array with some index value, then it will indicate some particular element which exists at this index. A of 0 means it denotes a particular element 11 at the first index. However, whenever you are using just the array name, it indicates the starting address of the array, which is also known as base address of an array. That is, starting address means here 10,000 and base address is also here 10,000. So starting address and base address concept both are same. So mark this point. Using just the array name means I am indicating the starting address of the array. So these are the four criteria you have to remember. And also you have to remember one more point. This index value of the array, say it is incremented one by one and starting from 0. That is, if I mark this index as I, then the value of I will be first 0, then the value of I will be incremented by 1, then we will get the value of I as 1, then again it will be incremented by 1, then I will get 2. So always the index value of the array will be incremented by 1. So what is the summary of this discussion is, point number 1, array is something about contiguous or continuous memory allocation, and whatever value we are keeping inside an array, it is homogeneous in nature. Homogeneous means of similar type. If it is an of type integer array, then all the values should be of type integer. Third, each and every array should have an index value, and the index always starts from 0. Therefore, if the size of the array is 4, it means the index ends at 3, 0 to 3. So it indicates the array size. Then the next point is, whenever you are writing just the array name, it denotes the base address, means printing the value of A will give you the starting address of the array. Now we have to understand how to take input in an array and how to get the output of that specific array. So first we have to learn the accessing, how to access array elements. So as I have discussed, that is, you can use array subscript or index for accessing array element. That is, say I have an array, say int a of 4. It means it will look like this. This is the memory allocation: 0, 1, 2, 3 and name of the array is A, and this room is known as A of 0, A of 1, A of 2 and A of 3. An array will always contain some homogeneous value, that is values of similar data types. And also each and every element should have its own address. So since size of the integer is of 4 byte, so we will have this kind of address allocation. And then we will have 8 and then so similarly it will go on. Now how to access array element? Try to understand. To access each and every element, I have to perform 2 points. First, I have to take input in an array and I have to print those elements as an output. These two tasks I have to perform. So the first point is how to take input in an array. So the simplest way of taking input in an array will look like first define the array, and while defining you can put the value using curly braces, that is say inside this array I want to keep 22, 11, 33 and 55. So I will put this value within this curly braces in order. So if I write the elements in this format, immediately the array will look like this. This is the first technique. Now we have another technique to take value inside an array. How? You can omit the size of an array. Means here you don't have to mention the size of the array. So this kind of array is known as unbounded array. Means the size is not restricted. So at this point of time you can also take value like this. So here the point is, here the restriction is you have to take value, 4 values. But whenever your array is unbounded or it is not restricted to any size, so you can take any value, means value of any number. So this kind of array is quite useful. But now we will learn how to take input in an array using scanf. That is, user will provide the input from the keyboard. So now here we have to understand one point. We have to keep array element in this partition, in this section. So this section is denoted by a of index value, right? So we have to use the array name and then the index value. So if this index is denoted by I, so this I value is starting from 0, means I value is 0, then it will increment it by 1, then 2, then 3. Similarly, it will move on. So basically what we are doing, we are traversing or iterating. So my point is traversal or iteration is important while taking input in an array. Now here the point is how to iterate or how to traverse. So traversing means I have a starting point, that is I have to start from this index and I have to end at this index, and in between each time the value of the index will be incremented by 1. So this traversal activity in C, it is performed by loop. So I will discuss loop later on, but here what kind of loop I am using? Here I am using one category of loop, that is known as for loop, and this for loop will look like this. So for is the keyword and then we have some brackets, parentheses. So here we have 3 segments of this for loop. In the first segment you have to write what is the starting condition. So here the starting condition is I have to start the index value from 0 because array index always starts from 0. So I will write index value will start from 0, and then up to which we have to continue. Try to understand here, if the size of the array is 4, then I have to continue up to 3. So I have to write I will be less than 4 and then I plus plus. What is the meaning of I plus plus? The meaning of I plus plus is each time I will be incremented by 1. Here you have to understand 2 points first. First, what is the syntax of the for loop and how the for loop will work? Means this three pattern you cannot change. Means the first condition should be the initial condition, then the second condition will be the range, means up to which index value you have to continue, and then how you are continuing your traversal, means you are incrementing the index value by 1 and then you are moving similarly. So now you have one more option. So if you start your index value from 1, then this range will be less or equal to 4 and then I plus plus. But remember one point, this will not work because it is the rule for an array. It is a correct syntax. We know that. I can use this concept anywhere else, but in case of array, always you have to remember you have to start the index value from 0. So it is a rule. So this is how we will traverse. So why we are traversing, we know that we have to take input from the keyboard. That's why we are performing traversal. So inside this for loop, we have to write scanf. So scanf, we are using this function for taking input from the keyboard. Now the point is what kind of value we are taking. So we are taking integer value. So our specifier will be %d, comma, and then where I should take this value, I have to take this value inside an array. And inside where? Inside a of 0, inside a of 1, a of 2 and a of 3. Now here the index value is now denoted by I. So each time the value of I will be incremented by 1. So basically I am going to take value in A of I position where the value of I will range from 0 to 4. So here I have to write A of I, means whenever the value of I is 0, so it will take value at A of 0 position. Then I will be incremented by 1 and then it will take the next position, that is it will take the element at A of 1 position. Similarly, this loop will proceed. So here the point is, so we need a for loop. We need a for loop so that we could take input from keyboard. So this is how these two lines are important for accessing elements or for getting some element into the, or I can put some value inside an array using this for loop. Now the value is taken inside an array. Now how we can represent or how we can fetch the output or how we can see the inputs or elements of an array. So it is very easy. Again, we have to traverse so that we could print the value. So for traversing, the rule is again same. I need a for loop where the index value will range from 0 to 4 and then index will be incremented by 1. So now this time I don't have to take input. This time I have to print the value whatever input I have taken. So instead of scanf, I will write just printf. What kind of value I am printing? I am printing integer value and then what value I want to print, whatever value is there in A of I position, then I have to print those value. So remember this two syntax for taking input in an array. For traversal purpose, first I have to use a for loop, then I will use scanf function, and later on for printing those value, again I have to use a for loop and then I have to print those value using printf function. So these are the three mechanisms that we have to understand how to take value in an integer array. Whenever I will discuss the mechanism of taking input in an character array, then this technique will differ because the orientation of the array will also differ. So what is the conclusion of this discussion is, so whenever we have some integer array, so I can use three mechanism to take input. First one is while defining the array, just put the value separated by comma. This is one option. This is a static input taking mechanism. And afterwards, I can use unbounded array where the size is not specified. So I can take any number of value according to my choice. And the third one is we have to use a for loop. First, for taking value, I have to use scanf function. And for printing those value, I have to use printf function. Now remember one point, all these mechanisms is for taking input, right? So in this case also, for printing the value, you have to use a for loop and you have to use the printf function. Here also you have to use a for loop and you have to use a printf function for printing. So this part is same. But we have to understand one more thing about this array, because integer array, the orientation of the integer array is not same with the orientation of the character array. Why? Now try to understand this point. So as I am discussing character array, it means you know that the data type will be of type character, and then the name of the array, and then the size of the array. The first difference we know that, so whatever memory it will allocate, so if the address is starting from 1000, so the next position will be 1001, then the 1002, because size of an character is 1 byte. This is one difference. But here you have to note one very important point. Say if I write this kind of syntax, say character a of 5 is equal to some value. So this kind of syntax is correct, because in the previous discussion I have discussed that. So while defining an array, I can put some value. I can put some value statically. So here also this syntax will work, but the second difference that I want to mention is whenever you want to take character kind of input, then you have two options. Either you use double quotes or write something, your name or some word. This is the one option. This is a static assignment inside an character array. Or you can opt for this option, that is define an array and then use curly braces just like integer array. Each and every element will be separated by comma, fine, but since we are dealing with characters, we can write each character like J, A, V, A. So this is the rule. So whenever you are writing one word, so you have to use double quotes. It means an array will be created and then this string will be assigned like this. And here also the same thing will happen, but here we are accessing character wise. So since each and every character should be enclosed with single quotes. But character array is not same as integer array, because see the size. Here the mentioned size is 5. But for allocating the word Java, we need 0, 1, 2, 3. So here the size is 4. Why I have used one extra space? So now you have to understand the very important rule for an character array. So whenever you are allocating any value by using any of the mechanism, then in the memory what will happen, after ending this word, a null will be assigned automatically. So here my point is the about the integer array. The integer, if the integer array is holding 4 elements, then the last element means the last content of the array. However, for the character array, whatever may be your word, it doesn't matter. After writing the word, automatically a null character will be assigned in the character array. So here the rule is each and every time a particular character array will be end with a null. Therefore, if your word size is 4, then you have to allocate one extra space so that null can be assigned. Now it is very difficult to understand how to take user input for a character array because it will have several mechanisms and each and every mechanism is significant depending on the application. That is, we know that if I talk about how to take input in an character array, then you know that okay ma'am, it is very simple that we have to use scanf. But try to understand, whenever I have a character array and if I want to take input in this character array using scanf function, then there will be one problem. What is the problem? Say my array is of size A of 5, right? I want to take a word Java as an input. So then there will be no problem. I can easily use scanf. But the problem will be displayed when I want to take some value with some blank space in it. Say Java and say some data structure or data value. So whenever you want to use scanf, you have to ensure that your word, whichever word you want to take as input, it should not contain any blank space. Why? Because scanf function is unable to deal with blank space. Means after taking Java as an input, whenever scanf finds a blank space, it will terminate. Means it will not take this data as an input. So this is the biggest drawback of scanf function, that it will not be able to deal with blank space. So if your word is containing any blank space, then scanf will not be a suitable option. So we have to use some other mechanism. So after this problem, the next function which is encountered, that is known as getS. So getS is just a function which is used to take input of input inside an character array, but this getS function is very useful than scanf because this getS function can deal with blank spaces. So this is a very important question. So what is the difference between getS and scanf? So scanf cannot deal with blank spaces. However, getS function can deal with blank spaces. Means if I use getS instead of scanf, then it can take input as Java data which is containing blank space within it. Today, I want to discuss a very important thing, and this concept is known as edit set conversion. So, please pay attention here. Now, what is this concept is all about? I was discussing a very simple topic, that is character array. So, whenever I have a character array, say name is S and the size is 20, then I know that I can take input from keyboard. So I'm just writing one word, that enter elements. Now how to take elements from keyboard? We know that I have to use scanf function. Now how to use scanf function? We know that I have to use one for loop, and within that for loop I have to write scanf. And how to write scanf? We also know that because scanf have two sections. Here I have to write array name and the index value, and here I have to write the specifier. Now here we have another problem, specifier. It is a character array, so you can write %c. But whenever I was discussing each and every topic, then I am just stating that you can take a value like this. So it is a string, right? Whenever I'm writing something in double quotes, it is not in character. Character means this one. So it is a string. So I can also use %s. So which specifier to use when? Then it is of another concern. So first I will tell you the concept of edit set. So how to use edit set? I'm just showing it to you. So whenever we have, just look at this syntax. So whenever we have some character array, then if you want to take input using scanf, then the problem we know. If my input is contain blank space, then it will not deal with the situation. If I want my scanf to deal with this situation, then I have to use the concept of edit set. So I think my first point is clear. So why we need edit set? If we want our scanf function that can deal with the blank space, then we have to use the concept of edit set. Means without edit set, the scanf will not be able to deal with blank space. Now how this edit set will look like? See, this edit syntax of this edit set will be percent, third bracket, and then we have the power symbol and slash n. So this is the syntax of the edit set. All are the components of the edit set. And where should I write edit set? Always I have to write the edit set in the left hand side here, left hand side of this comma. So here I want to use a edit set. So how to use a edit set? The first component is percent. Then the second component is third bracket. Third component is power symbol, and then we have slash n. So whenever I am using this syntax, it means now my scanf has the power to deal with blank space. To deal with blank space. And now the question is, what should I write here? Because you just try to understand one point. I have mentioned that if you want to take input in the array, definitely you need a loop. But here I am not using any loop. So how could I take input in this array, character array? So your answer is, whenever you do not have any loop, you can do one thing. You can mention the starting address of the array. That is, if your array name is S and this is your first index, this is your second index. You don't want to traverse your array using for loop. Then what you can do? You can do one more thing. In the previous discussion, I have mentioned the starting address of the array is known as base address. And how to indicate base address? If you just write the array name, then it will be the representation of the base address. And remember one point, if you are mentioning the base address, then data type is known to the program, then automatically it will be traversed. So here I have to just write the base address of the array. Base address means just the name of the array. So after writing edit space, then you just have to mention the array name. That's it. Mentioning array name is, we know the starting address. Then according to this data type, I know I have to increment by 1 byte. Then it will take the input accordingly. So this is the beautiful concept of the edit set. Apart from scanf, now we will also have gettys, right? So in gettys also, I'm just writing the syntax. Using gettys is also very easy because while using gettys function, you don't have to mention any specifier also. You just mention the array name, means you just mention the base address, then gettys function will automatically take input. So it is very simple. So gettys function can take input just using the base address without concerning about the specifier, without concerning about the edit space. It is very easy syntax. So now I will show you some important hands-on coding in the next class so that we could understand what are the different kinds of facilities available. So in the next class, I will start from taking input in the simple array. Then I will move on to the concept of the character array, then I will discuss each and every coding using edit set and some of the internal functions which are applied on character array. But here there is one more discussion left with us, that is which specifier we should use, because if I don't want to use any edit set, then this space in at this space I have to write some specifier. So this question is still open, that which specifier should I use. Now what we are talking about? We are talking about strings or we are talking about characters? So here one important point you have to understand. My array is of type character, fine. So whenever we are taking value in the array in the double quotes, it is a string. So basically you are dealing with string. So here the question is, the concept of string exists in C programming language. See, my answer is any string is a one dimensional array of characters. But the string data type, the data type string does not exist in case of C programming language. That is, C language does not support string as data type. So what we are doing exactly, that we have to understand. So here percent %s indicates the specifier is of string type, means whatever value I am taking, it is in terms of one word. And whenever I am writing %c, it means whatever input I am taking, that input is in the form of character, in the form of single alphabet. So this is the difference. So %s does not mean that our C language supports string data type. No, string data type is only supported in Java, and C only supports character data type. And by combining many characters together in an 1D array, we can form a string. And to deal with the strings, sometimes we have to deal with a header file, that is hash include string.h. So here the most important note is that you have to remember that C language does not support the string data type. So now here the one more important point is, so which specifier we should use, %s or %c? So I will show it to you using some more example, but I'm just writing one simple program, that is whenever I am having a small array and if I want to take input in that array, so I can use getS function. And how to use getS function? Just write getS function and just the array name. Done. So this is how we can take input from keyboard. Now how to print this value? So I will write printf, then %s and then the array name. So here the question is, why I am using %s? Because I have discussed that getS is a function that can deal with blank spaces, right? So it is expected that my input will be in the form of string. So that's why I'm using %s. But look here. Here I'm using just the array name, means I'm just mentioning the base address. So here make this note available. So whenever I'm using the getS function, it deals with string. String means input with some word along with sometimes along with some blank spaces. So definitely our specifier will be %s. But I can use %c whenever I'm not using getS. I'm just using a scanf, and here I can use %c whenever I want to deal with some character value only. So both are available, but most convenient is using %s, because we all time we will expect we are not taking any single character. Each time we will take some word or some two or three words separated by space. So using %s is convenient than %c.